When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. If you want to get access to my content early, check out my Discord. This is the Sith of Gotham City, Chapter 1, Sith Acolyte, Part 1. This fanfiction will be split off in chapters. So I don't know how long until we get to chapter 2, but we're only on the first part, so I've only made part 0 in this, so we're far from that. So let's just continue. As we continue our story, after Elijah Rosefield had his very first saber duel with a practice saber, killing his very first opponent, Elijah calmly left the large room where the duel took place and continued to go deeper into the old Sith tomb. After following the long stone hallway that eventually led Elijah to a large room filled with torches made of stone, placed right across from each other on each side of the pathway, leading all the way to a large stone door with Sith carvings that was carved onto the stone itself in the Sith language. Elijah approached a large stone door. There's no signs of any way to open up, no console, no mechanism can be seen near the large stone door. Elijah begins to examine the door. I see. So that's how it is. These are one of those doors that can only be opened up by using the Force, judging by the Sith writing that's been carved onto the stone door. After decoding the Sith writing on the door, Elijah was correct. This large stone door can only be opened up by using the Force itself. And that's what Elijah did. He placed his palm of his hand on the middle of the stone door and channeled the Force through his body and releasing it in the palm of his hand. As there was a slight Force pulse that made the dust on the ground fly up, like it got hit with a gust of wind. Slowly, the Sith writing on the stone door begins to light up bright crimson red, as all the symbols begin to glow as well. Slowly, the large stone door begins to rise upwards, opening a pathway forward for Elijah to continue his trial. When the stone door finally opened up entirely, giving Elijah access, Elijah walked forward. After following a short hallway, in the stone hallway, only light that could be seen is the torches along the walls, giving visible light, illuminating the path ahead of them slightly. The short hallway led to a larger chamber The first thing Elijah noticed was the sith statues scattered all around the room, or in the chamber, and the carvings around the walls, decorated with all the torches attached as well, illuminating the carvings on the wall, slightly illuminating the chamber. To the far end of the room, there is stone steps, leading to the second story of the tomb, gaining access to the second level. The moment Elijah begins to walk forward, walking down the pathway between the statues and torches on both sides of the pathway that Elijah is currently walking on. Elijah, sensing a disturbance in the force, pulled out his practice saber he got from a dead corpse of an acolyte when he first entered the tomb, and got ready in his lightsaber form. As several hostile predators made themselves known, much like the first hostile predators Elijah fought when he first entered the Sith tomb. But these predators are slightly different compared to the two other kinds of predators he has faced. As you can see, two different species in the chamber. The ones on the ground seem to be much like the first lizard creatures. It does have a canine body, but the skin is of a lizard. But the skin of this specific species of predator are all pitch black, with red eyes and sharp teeth, with a long lizard tail, or lizard tongue. And the second species of predator that are flying around the large chamber are man-eating bats, much larger than an average bat, with several rows of very sharp teeth in the mouth of the animal. Instead of the bat only having 2 sets of wings, this specific breed of bat has 4 sets of wings on its body. Their feet are sharp like claws, alongside with arms that attach to the side of the bat's body between the 2 different sets of wings. This specific bat is about quite small. How small it is, you could tell from an adult or an infant of their species. These bats in the air flying around the chamber is definitely part of the younger offspring of this specific species. These specific bats are just about the size of a full-grown cat. Elijah immediately put his guard up, as all the black lizard canines immediately disappeared like they turned invisible. He could hear the footsteps of the invisible creatures surrounding him as one of the bats came swooping in, hoping to land a critical hit. But Elijah was expecting such tactics from a flying creature like that, and cut down the bat in 2 with one single upward slash with his practice saber on lethal. Elijah might not be able to see the invisible predators, but that doesn't mean he can't sense them using the Force. Elijah has never done this before, using the Force to locate a life form that's completely invisible. Elijah tightened his grip on the handle of the hilt of the practice saber of his weapon, slightly increasing his pressure, waiting for the incoming attack. Once Elijah blocked off all of his other senses, sight, smell, hearing, Something clicked in Elijah as he instantly sensed all of these creatures. Elijah easily cut down one of the bats by chopping it too, as one of the invisible lizard canine creatures charged forward as Elijah cut off the head of the creature by sensing it with the force. As more of the same invisible creatures came to attack behind him, as Elijah slashed his practice saber behind him without even looking, chopping the predator in half. As this pattern would repeat, either by killing them with his practice saber or using force lightning to kill his targets. As Elijah unleashed a powerful force lightning, making contact with the bats in the air, instantly frying them, killing them all at once. As he scattered the rest with a powerful force push. Regardless of his small victory, but Elijah had to think fast on his feet as he sensed incoming attacks from one of the lizards-looking predators that has the shape of a canine body, basically. As it lunged forward, trying to slash Elijah with his claws, Elijah raised up his practice saber, blocking the slash. As the claw made contact onto the practice saber, making sparks, as Elijah force pushed the black lizard away, then immediately used his opposite hand to unleash black force lightning at the pair of lizards charging was instantly vaporized. After a while, Elijah found a good rhythm, killing a couple predators with his practice saber, then killing the rest with his force lightning. One after another, the predator numbers began to die down until there was pure silence. After the immediate threat was dealt with, he continued on his way, approaching the stone steps leading to the second level of the sith tomb. Once Elijah ascended to the second level, he could hear clashes of battle echoing through the second level of this tomb. He followed the stone hallway. The more he traveled through the hallway, the louder the sounds of battle became, leading him to a large chamber filled with acolytes around his age, all battling each other. Elijah immediately noticed the acolytes that came from a sith family are handling themselves pretty well. It did surprise Elijah that the two acolytes from the sith family aren't trying to kill each other. Siths don't normally work well with each other, but he locked that away for later use. He didn't notice the Imperial acolytes. I miswrote. He did notice the Imperial acolytes fighting the acolytes that were slaves prior. As the Imperial acolytes easily outclassed the acolytes that came from prison camps, killing them quite quickly. As the Imperial acolytes turned their attention towards the acolytes from the sith families, as the two groups of acolytes begin to engage in each other with saber combat, Elijah used the dark side of the Force to conceal his presence, like he did on the first day he attended the Sith Academy, easily passing by everyone. The acolytes didn't even notice him, even when he walked right past them. They were unaware of his presence, Once he left that chamber, he followed the narrow hallway that led him to a couple more doors that required to use the force to open up. The stone doors weren't as grand as the first one he opened up, but these doors were much smaller, like the normal size of a normal door. With a little bit of a force implemented, the door was easily opened up, leading to several hallways and chambers. After walking through the second level of the chamber, Elijah finally gained access to the third level, where he was immediately ambushed when he entered the chamber. First chamber of the third level of the tomb, by an acolyte he doesn't recognize. He seems to be around the same age. Elijah had no doubt there's more than one classroom filled with acolytes attending the first year. This might be the first trial, but it's still a competition with all the first year acolytes. When Elijah entered the chamber, he immediately raised up his practice saber, immediately blocking a incoming strike from the first year acolyte that's in the chamber with him. Humanoid, that Elijah could tell. Nice reflexes, not bad. In here I thought this was going to be boring. Is there a reason why you're attacking me, whoever you are? No, not really. I've already completed the trial. As you can see, as he raised up a practice saber that looks like a lightsaber, with the hilt activated. Pretty smart of you to use one of the practice sabers from one of the many dead acolytes. Shows that you have smarts. If you complete the trial, then why did you stage his ambush? I want to see how the competition was outside of the Imperial acolytes and the acolytes that come from a sith family. Those are the only ones that are worthwhile. And I want to test my skills to see where I stand against them. Just a friendly hello. We'll continue this at a later date. Good luck on the trial. You're going to need it. As the hooded acolyte walked away, humming to himself, leaving Elijah a little bit confused and irritated. But Elijah shook his head and refocused his attention towards the task in front of him, completing his first trial, his first step to becoming a Sith, and acquiring his very first practice saber. As he continued, and he wants to get this over with and continue his studies in the Sith Academy, he entered the opposite door in the chamber. After a few more chambers and hallways, Elijah, who's using the Force to guide his path, eventually got to his destination, a humongous chamber with torches along all the walls illuminating the chamber slightly. Was a singular hooded person in the middle of the chamber. Elijah couldn't see their face because of the hood covering the face, but mostly the top part of the face. But the shape of the figure of the person standing in the middle of the chamber is clearly female by the curves of her body. The female figure turned around to face Elijah. Good. Another acolyte has come to prove their worth, to earn a practice saber. Good, you're smart enough to use a practice saber that you came across. Your final task is quite clear. She tossed her Sith cloak to the side, revealing a humanoid Imperial with long blonde hair. But with a long hair, the Imperial Sith seems to be around the age of 26 to 29 years old. As the female Sith has a lightsaber attached to her belt buckle that she's wearing, and she's wearing a pitch black Sith robe under the cloak that she tossed off. If you manage to land a solid hit upon me, You have officially completed your first trial, acolyte. The Sith instructor for this trial reached out with the Force and pulled out a upgraded practice saber out of the wooden case that's behind her, filled with the same similar containers, all filled with the new models of the practice sabers behind her. As the hilt flew to her side, as she caught it without looking and activated the practice saber, and immediately activated in lethal. Immediately activating the lethal setting on the practice saber. Elijah immediately get into his saber form and activate his practice saber. He's been using and activating his practice saber on lethal the entire time. As he slowly approaches his opponent in his saber stance, Elijah approaches cautiously. The size difference between the two is clearly evident. Elijah's only 8 or 9 years old, while this woman is in her late 20s. And the power she has at her fingertips is far more larger than Elijah has access to currently. Elijah could sense it, how strong she's in the dark side. The dark sides are radiating off of her in waves. He's clearly more knowledgeable and powerful in the dark side, alongside in terms of saber combat. He had to proceed with extreme caution. The Sith instructor wasn't making any moves, so Elijah was the first one to make the first blow and try to slash at her as he swiftly launched forward to test the water. Elijah barely had enough time to dodge the incoming counterattack. Once his attack was blocked, after Elijah blocked the incoming attack from the instructor, he immediately backed off and circled around the instructor. You have good instincts and reflexes. I can see why you made it this far. Let's see how you do under pressure, shall we, little one? She immediately bolted forward, throwing out slashes and stabs with the practice saber in her hand. She probably could have used her main weapon, her lightsaber that's attached to her belt, but that would be overkill. She wants to probably test the young acolytes, and the best way to do so is to use a practice saber during this trial. But yet again, another acolyte that she's tested has surprised her. The first one was quite crafty and sneaky. He was a little bastard in her mind. But this one, who she's fighting currently, is quite skilled. Nowhere near her level, of course, but that doesn't mean she's not impressed. The more she lashed out with her practice saber, quicker Elijah started to react, block or parry, always keeping his guard up, not leaving any openings for his opponent to capitalize onto. The more the two practice saber collide with each other, more slight sparks were created from each other's clash. Elijah was getting ready to block another upward slash, but this attack was a lot more powerful than the previous attacks prior, so he was taken off guard before he was sent skidding backwards. By pure instinct, he shot out forward with his hand at the Sith instructor and using a force pushing her some distance away, breaking through her force barrier. The Sith instructor wasn't expecting a force push of that caliber. But luckily, when her force field, I think it's barrier field, I'm not really sure. Let's go with force barrier. Once her force barrier was compromised, she instantly, by instinct, fortified her barrier back up. If she didn't reactivate her force barrier, she would have took a major hit by that force push. Excellent form, and an excellent way to utilize a force push. You almost got me there. Elijah used the dark side of the force to conceal his presence. When the instructor located him, Elijah was already in the air, swinging downwards with his practice saber. As the instructor easily blocked as they continued their saber combat. Elijah didn't have enough time to block, so he did the next best thing to roll out of the way. Immediately when he got up from the wild swing, he held backwards a few steps to get some distance. After the Sith instructor clearly outclassed them in their current clash. Once Elijah foot touched the ground from his last hop, he used the force to increase his speed and charge forward, creating dust. Once the Sith instructor got into his striking range, Elijah swung his practice saber. Elijah narrowed his eyes, seeing his attack was easily blocked as he sidestepped to the right and launched forward once again, only for his attempt to get easily blocked again as the instructor kicked Elijah in the chest, as Elijah was sent sliding backwards, as he stopped his momentum by slamming his practice saber into the stone tile ground. You're gonna have to do a little better than that, little acolyte. Elijah relaxed his muscles and closed his eyes for a brief second. When he opened them up again, he immediately engaged once again, but this time he was using Form 7 Vapad. The moment Elijah used Form 7, his strikes got a lot more aggressive and a lot more faster. The Sith instructor was surprised, but not taken off guard. She easily guarded against the onslaught of attacks from the practice saber. She easily kept up with Elijah's fast movements with a well-placed parry, making the Sith acolyte slightly unbalanced. Elijah immediately thrusted his weapon forward, as the Sith instructor managed to dodge majority of them, as a singular cut made itself known onto the Sith instructor's side of her face, on the side of her face guard mask, covering the bottom part of her face, leaving a scratch mark on her face guard mask. With a single wave of her hand, one of the many metal boxes on the table opened up behind her on the black table as a practice saber flew towards Elijah. Elijah caught it in his hands. Elijah instantly activated the black hilt as a black energy blade could be seen, as he gave the new practice saber a couple swings. You've done very well, acolyte. But don't think the rest of your time here will be as easy as this. Your future trials will be far more dangerous and complex compared to this first trial you have completed. But if you keep walking on the path that you're currently walking on, you're on your way to becoming a most powerful Sith, indeed. You may take your leave, acolyte. Elijah begins to head back through the same pathway he took to get back to the entrance. Eventually, he crossed paths with the group of acolytes that comes from the Sith family. You owe me 200 credits. I told you he would pass the first trials before us. Lucky bastard, as he tossed him some credits. Pleasure doing business with you, as he put the credits into his pocket. You're part of the Rosefield family, right? That I am. I'm Elijah Rosefield, as Elijah kept his practice saber handy, as he tossed the old one to the side earlier. He hasn't activated his practice saber yet, but he has it, ready to be unleashed at the slightest moment of hostility. No need for that, fellow acolyte. We have no intention of engaging you in combat. At least, not today. Elijah begins to walk past them. Before Elijah could fully walk past them, one of them spoke up. It was one of the female acolytes. Once I pass this trial, Elijah, I'm going to be coming for you next. Elijah gave her a smirk. You can try. As he fully walked away from them. It didn't take Elijah long to exit out of the tomb the way he came in. He eventually made his way back to the Sith Academy. Once he got to his chambers, he flopped down onto the bed, exhausted. Elijah decided to go to bed early to recover and to get an early start before classes start again. Elijah eventually got up around 4 to do his morning exercises before he has to attend his first lesson of the day. After his morning exercise, he put his new clean set of acolyte robes on and began to make his way to his first lesson of the day with his practice saber. The practice saber that Elijah got was a new model that he got from the Sith instructor when he passed his trials. It's basically a downgraded lightsaber. All the new practice sabers can be identified by the color of the hilt. Because of Elijah's practice saber, hilt is black. The energy produced by the practice saber is the same color of the hilt, black. The practice saber may resemble a real lightsaber, just by looks alone. But clearly, the lightsaber is far more superior compared to the upgraded practice saber. Elijah placed the hilt of the practice saber somewhere it's not visible, but still be able to draw out at the critical moment. So naturally, Elijah placed his practice saber in the sleeves of his Sith Academy robes as he entered the first class of the day. Elijah started to get back in routine after completing the first trial. Attending courses, train, eat, sleep, rinse and repeat. It didn't take long for the first year of the academy to come to an end. Because Elijah is from a well-known imperial family, he has certain benefits that most acolytes don't have access to. As a Rosefield, he automatically has connection, so Elijah was easily granted some time with his family before another year of the Sith Academy starts up again. Eventually, Elijah boarded a commercial ship that's heading towards the core planet of the Empire. The moment Elijah entered the commercial cruiser, the cruiser itself is a luxury spacecraft used to take diplomats and cadets to all core planets of the Empire. So the cruiser was filled with soldiers, cadets, and acolytes. Good, you finally arrived. When Elijah turned around, he saw a very familiar face, as Elijah's aunt, his mother's younger sister, greeted Elijah. "Look at you, how much you've grown. I'm surprised to see you here, Vera. Did my mother put you up to this? Guilty as charged. You can't blame your mother. She's just worried about you. I told your mother you would have no trouble passing your first trial. How is it, the Sith Academy?" "The Academy is very interesting, brutal, but very beneficial. You're definitely my nephew. I know you can do. I know for a fact you will do well in the Sith Academy. Take it, mother guilt tripped you for you to go off of a leave. That she did. And worry not, I have enough leave time. I've been holding on to for such a occasion like this. You know how my sister, your mother, can be. She's a very demanding woman. Well, come on, little acolyte." Ignoring the little acolyte comment, Elijah spoke up. "Where we're going?" "The VIP section. I want to hear all about how you've been holding up." They eventually took an elevator all the way up to the VIP section of the ship and sat down in a lodge-type room. As Vera had one of the staff bring some refreshments for herself and her little nephew, Vera slowly took a drink of her non-alcoholic beverage. Elijah did the same. The Rosefield has always had a unique taste for tea, and every member of the Rosefield have that similar trait in common. I can sense your feelings. You want to know more? That would be nice, nephew. It seems your time at the academy is well spent if you're able to sense my curiosity through the Force. As Elijah begins to tell Vera his time spent at the academy, keeping certain parts to himself, Elijah has only told her enough, the basic information, that is common knowledge. The Sith Academy has certain information that's quite sensitive. Naturally, Elijah would rather not get in trouble for being a blabbermouth, so he kept certain information to himself. It seems like you're doing well enough. Smart, not revealing all the information, but that's to be expected. You're on your way to become one of those Sith. Those lots are dangerous and secretive. I won't ask any further. I know it's classified. Good. You know I can't reveal any sensitive information. You're so much like your mother. So I have been told. It's pretty good. So how have you been? I've been pretty good. I'm climbing the ranks. of the Empire pretty quickly. I could have easily took a higher position, but I didn't want to. I wanted to climb the ranks by myself, not using our family name for my benefit. There's no honor in that. I completely agree, Aunt. Even at the Sith Academy, I've noticed there's more lenience towards me. Grant me privileges that other acolytes don't normally get because of my family name. I dislike it. It's to be expected, sadly. Our family is well known throughout the Empire. But if you do succeed becoming a Sith, our family will have a rose field in every branch of the government. Outside of being the Emperor, of course. Father was pleased to hear it as well. When I called him over a holo call, not that long ago. Not surprising, your father is a crafty one. Enough about family. Do you know when your second trial will begin? Not sure yet. It'll be a few more months before the Sith Academy starts another year. Most acolytes can't leave the Sith Academy when they start, at least the ones that don't have connections. I feel sorry for anyone that gets in your way. You're one scary kid. I sometimes forget you're only like 9 or 10 years old. I'll be turning 10 soon. Their conversation was erupted by sounds of fire as the commercial cruiser ship was being attacked by a very daring and foolish brand of space pirates. Vera looked towards the viewing window in the VIP area and saw a pirate ship flying past, firing upon the luxury cruiser. Of course we're being attacked by space pirates. Come on, nephew. We're going to the bridge. Understood. As Elijah walked beside Vera as they make their way to the bridge. I might not recognize the emblem, but these are definitely space pirates. To think they would attack so far deep into Imperial territory. We need to hurry. That's where we're going to stop it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next part.